It's time to get casually uncomfortable. News Edition with your host, Chuck Jerome. Viewer discretion is advised. What is up, all my Jeromies and my Jeromettes? Hope the week's going well. Please tell me that you are getting shit done and that you're having some fun. Because look, that's what it's about. The good times, the bad times, the in-between. But you got to stay mean, baby. And what I mean is getting it done. Because nice ain't the way to get it done. Sometimes you got to get nasty. And a lot of times you got to get nasty by yourself. And I'm not talking nasty. I'm just saying you got to build yourself up. You got to say, "Hey, motherfucker, you got this." That's the kind of nasty I'm talking about. "Hey, bitch, get up. Time to go make it happen." That's how you got to talk to yourself sometimes. And then if you want to get nastier, get nasty afterwards, whatever. But get shit done. It's the middle of the week. Get it done. That's all I can say. Because when you do, it feels so good. So damn good. Believe that. And I'm about to get it done by getting these articles out here that I have found. I throughout the week, this episode is just news. I find some articles that make me go, damn! And then I'm like, wow. Or maybe they just make me shake my head. I'm like, what the fuck? But I find them, and I have fun with them. So let's get it going. This first article is a doozy. This trucker, who's 22, from Texas, he was passing through Ohio, and he was going to a Costco, and he had a gun on his side. And the Costco employee, tried to tell him, hey, you can't have that, and pulled a knife on the guy. And look, you got to know states that you're going into if they're open carry, because not all are. But Ohio is an open carry state, but private businesses, such as Costco, can say, hey, no. They got that right. Nope, we don't want you in here with that firearm. But here's the catch. Only law enforcement are allowed to, pursue and intervene with a person that is in their store with the firearm, not an employee. Because what happened after this employee pulled a pocket knife on a guy with a gun, the guy with the gun shot him once, and then when the guy hit the ground, he stood over him and shot him a few more times. Yes, the guy that was shot did not survive. And then when the police showed up, the guy with the gun made the statement that a white man approached him with a knife for no reason. And look, if you're working somewhere, that's why there are fucking rules in place. Somewhere in that handbook, it said, yes, Ohio is an open carry state. If you see someone come in with a gun, and they're not brandishing it, and it's just there, and you can see it, it's not allowed in the store. Go ahead and call the cops. Let them deal with it. But this guy, unfortunately, said, hey, I'm going to be the hero here, and fucking got himself killed. It's a horrible thing, but this is one of those times where you're like, oh, rules are put into place for a reason. Now, listen, I've been places where it's an open carry state, and you see a older gentleman with the gun on his hip. Who cares? I thought about it for a second. I was like, holy shit, this is insane. And I actually got to talking to the guy, and he was just a really cool old dude. And I get it. The way the fucking world is now, I've thought about getting a gun. Like, the way the world is now, fucking pepper spray just ain't gonna do it. You know? We're just living in wild times. But again, listen, you're working a job. Don't try and be a fucking hero. Because just don't. Just fucking don't. Okay? I always talk about the story where this person came in to one of my serving jobs, and it's called jugging. And I always talk about it during the holidays because that's when people go to the ATM, pull money out, and normally they go to a restaurant to eat. And what they don't notice is someone is watching them. So the person watches them take the money out the ATM, they follow them, linger around, and then when the person's guard is down, they snatch their purse or their bag that has the money in it. That's exactly what happened. I was working at this restaurant. Person went to the bank, pulled some money out. Oh, I'm going to get lunch. They got lunch. But what the person did was, which I thought was the dumbest fucking thing to do. Let's say you're at a 4-top table, right? You got four chairs, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're facing the table on the right side, those 2 chairs are on the aisle, and the people were sitting on the left, which were closer into the middle of the room. Well, the lady decided to put her purse on one of those right side seats close to the aisle. And the person that watched them go to the bank went to the bathroom, got a running start, grabbed their purse, ran out the store, had a car waiting for them, and then the police had to get involved and all this crazy shit. It was absolutely wild. But in those situations, they tell us, hey, do not try to be a fucking hero. And I'll never forget that, because as I was coming out with a whole tray of hot ass food, it was like the Flash ran past me. I'll never forget that. Don't remember what they looked like, but I remember that person ran off, and you hear the lady, hey, stop them. They have my purse. I can't tackle that person. Now if I would have walked out maybe 2 more feet, they would have plowed right into me, probably burning us both. Yeah, you just gotta sometimes adhere to the rules of work. All right, let's go to the next article. And this one is talking about football from last season, where this guy watched a kicker miss a field goal so bad that the guy started laughing and he went into a seizure. And then he went to the hospital and he found out that he had a tennis ball sized tumor on the left side of his brain that presented no symptoms right before his seizure. And this guy is grateful that football saved his life. Wow. The crazy things that happen in life. The shit where you're like, what? Football saved your life? What happened? Well, the kicker fucked up his kick so bad, like, out of a fucking Looney Tunes scene. And then the guy just starts laughing. And then has a fucking seizure. Life plays some wild jokes. Wild. Life gives you wild stories. Like, I hope this guy is good. It doesn't really say much more, just saying that, hey, he caught a fucking tumor that he didn't know he had. That's why you got to get to the hospital. I mean, you got to get to the hospital and get checked out from time to time. And I'm even talking to myself because I have been really bad. I haven't been to the doctor in a while. I mean, I only went for my driving portion stuff that I had to do. I can't think of what I'm trying to say. But, you have to go to a clinic and get checked out. I did. I was good, but I want to get to a doc. I want to have a doctor, sit down with the doctor and say, "Doc, check me out, head to toe, inside, outside. Make sure shit ain't going too bad." That's what I want. I want a full fucking head to toe, inside, outside checkup. Because I've noticed a lot of men do not like going to the hospital. They don't want to go to the doctor. They don't want to do that. I know quite a few people who opted not to go to the doctor normally as they should, only until things got bad. And then went from bad to worse. So, and not just guys, women. Look, get to the fucking doctors. Go to the hospital, get checked out. Do yourself a fucking favor. You're welcome. Y'all remember that submarine that they fucking made up? They welded some shit together and they took some people into, I think it was the Mariana Trench, and they're just trying to go out and fucking explore with a man-made submarine. And no, I mean, not man-made, but a generically made submarine, because all submarines are man-made. But this wasn't, this didn't have the standards and codes that a fucking military submarine would have. And this was back in 2023, June 18th, 2023. And 5 people went into the submarine, got down so far that the submarine imploded. And if you're not sure what that means, an explosion goes out. An implosion goes in. So they were essentially vaporized in the water from the pressure of being down so far. And the widow of the husband and the son that were a part of this trip is now talking about her experience and how she was supposed to be the one on there, gave up her seat, and when they were looking for bodies, there was nothing to really, truly be found. But what she said was, it took about 9 months, and she did get something back. And it was in 2 small boxes, kind of like shoe boxes. But she said it was just slush. And look, what did I say earlier? Life gives you wild fucking stories. This mother and wife is going to have to think about this for the rest of her life. And what she's going to have are 2 boxes with mush inside of it to commemorate her son and her husband. And that is fucking insane. Like, Like I remember when that happened. They're like, these billionaires are gonna go to in the ocean and explore. And they're like, hey, they took all this time to create this fucking uh, submarine, and it's gonna be great. And as soon as they fucking get down there, the next news story is, hey, they fucking disappeared. You're like, what? Yeah, they just fucking poof. And that is fucking crazy. Hey, that's life. That's life. You remember how I've always talked about there's different things that like you get to live every type of life, but each life there's some shit you have to go through. Good, bad, in between. You got to go through it. That's life. That's the price you pay to live all these other lives. It's wild. It is fucking wild. Because if I was presented with an opportunity to go into a submarine that wasn't made by a reputable company, then I ain't getting in it. I don't know who normally makes submarines. You always hear about them in the Navy, in military. I would first check if it was military grade, because I no ain't no fucking way. But hey, that's life. And this article I actually heard from the guy in my truck when we were going around doing our driving practice about this 37-year-old woman who got fucking drunk. It says she was twice the legal limit. And what she did was, because she had a Tesla, she thought she was safe. She punched in the coordinates to get home, jumped in the passenger seat, and the motherfucking car started her trip home. Well, apparently, you have to still have your fucking eyes open, and the car has sensors. And if your eyes aren't open for a certain amount of time, what happens is the son of a bitch will shut off. And as she was driving home, she was passed out in the passenger seat, not driving, trying to be responsible. The car didn't sense her eyes were open and shut the fuck off in the middle of the interstate. I was going to re-record that part, but I don't know what the fuck just happened to my voice. Whatever. We're going to keep going. Yeah, so middle of the interstate at 2 o'clock in the morning. So now she is charged with driving under the influence, even though she wasn't driving. And this is that weird area, that in between, that gray area of these fucking cars. Again, this is the wild shit that we're living in. Then we'll upgrade that shit, and then the fucking robots will completely take over. So you better learn robot right motherfucking now. You better keep saying please and thank you to the AI, because once you stop, they'll remember you. So get ready for that. But yeah, I don't know, because I've seen places where they have self-driving taxis, so if you get into an accident in a self-driving taxi, who gets the ticket? That's my question. So, and then you're gonna be like, well, Chuck, she was still in the car intoxicated. Hey, she did her best. She did her best to stay out of trouble. Didn't say she got into an accident. Didn't say anything like that. Just said the fucking car said, I don't know what's going on. Shut the fuck down. That's where we're at. Now, this article, I remember seeing this on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on everything, where the Door Dasher got to the guy's house. He was drunk, he was passed out, his dick was out, and a door was open. And then what she proceeded to do was videotape the guy and then bash him online, talking about how inappropriate that was. And now she is going before a grand jury, and she has pleaded not guilty to unlawful surveillance and unlawful surveillance images. Now, as you know, when you are out in public, you have there is no expectation of privacy. That's why a while ago I did an episode on First Amendment rights and how there are people out there who audit those rights by going out into public and filming people and having them just lose their minds. Hey, why the fuck are you filming me? You piece of shit. And then they get all crazy and then they put their hands on this First Amendment auditor and then they go to jail. You're out and about. Yes, people can say what they want as long as they're not, physically harming you. They can take pictures of you. But once you get into your house, there is that expectation of privacy. Even if the door is open, you can't just be taking pictures. I don't know all the rules on that, but now I'm going to look all that type of stuff up. I'll probably talk about it next week. And what this woman did was, I said, videotaped him from outside to the inside of his house. And she claimed that she had been sexually assaulted by the customer. Then the police determined there was no sexual assault. And the man was fully cooperative with the officers. And now she could be going to jail. But she's going to have a court case coming up soon. And this is just wild. Like, I remember when her video came out, she was just frantic. And she's like, look at this guy. And you clearly see a guy with his bits and bytes out, but they were blurred in the picture. And I'm like, what? What is happening? I'm like, look, I've been drunk to the point that I'm like, look, I'm fucking hungry. Give me some food, baby. It's time to eat, motherfucker. And I'm telling you, you have a couple of good drinks, you're going to want to eat. And that is exactly what happened. He was ready for some food. The food showed up. He was passed out. So when he woke up, it would have been a glorious time. Like, oh my goodness, that food I ordered. But no, she decided to break the law. So we'll see. I'll keep up on this story. Now, this story is about another delivery driver. This guy worked for FedEx. And what happened was, apparently he hit a car but didn't know it. Then as he's driving, the car pulls up next to him and, starts doing the shoulder shrug and the hand motions like, hey, what the fuck? You know what I'm talking about? What the fuck? You can't see it, but you know what I'm talking about. You get in a car and someone's pissing you off, you might shake your head or shrug your shoulders. And this is what the guy was doing in the car. Well, the guy in the car follows the FedEx driver back to his home base. And also to note that the FedEx driver had his girlfriend with him. So the guy gets back to the warehouse, and the guy in the car gets out. It's like, hey, you hit my fucking car. And the guy's like, dude, I didn't hit your fucking car. So the FedEx driver goes into the warehouse because he was getting ready to get off of work. Goes in, gets his shit together, comes back out, and then the guy confronts him again. The FedEx driver, now in his vehicle, drives off. The guy continues to follow him. Then the FedEx driver gets back out, grabs a brick, threatens the guy. Then the guy goes to his car, pulls a gun on the FedEx driver, and then fucking shoots him in the chest. His girlfriend gets out, holds him. The guy knows, he's like, look, I'm going to die. Like, I love you, baby. And she calls the cops, and, en route to the hospital, the guy dies. The guy who shot him then waited 20 minutes before he called any type of law enforcement, because he said that's what his lawyer said to do. And then he claimed self-defense, but he emptied the fucking magazine. And he said only because he felt his life was in danger. But this is the motherfucker that followed a guy two separate times. And I hope the guy who did the shooting gets fucking life in prison. I hope he has a miserable rest of his life. Like, dude, most people, if they the first time he followed him to the warehouse, he would have been like, hey, let me speak to your manager. I'm going to show them the damages, this, that, and the other. You probably got cameras. Let me see the fucking cameras, this, that, and the other. Not antagonize the guy and then have him start to leave and then follow him a second time. And then the guy's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he shoots him. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? This world is wild. Like I said, the world is wild. You got to be careful. You don't know what people have, what people are doing. You can't just be bad Leroy Brown all the damn time, because that shit didn't work out for him either. But then you got some responsible gun owners, then you got these little bitches who just got the gun because they're scared. Oh, if I have a gun, I'm a big man. I can do anything now. And that's what this guy thought. And now he's going to hopefully go to jail for the rest of his fucking life. All right, so this is going to be the last article. And this article is going to be called Multi-Partners. This woman, who is an adult film star, is talking about how she dated a half dozen people at one time and called monogamy unnatural, and claims it was forced through a social construct. She says, having been in a polyamory relationship since her 20s and finding herself being drawn to people outside of her monogamous relationships, she's concluding that polyamory is natural. And look, to a degree, I agree. And if you're like, Chuck, what do you mean? What do you mean? Look at the fucking divorce rates. Let's start there. Look at how many motherfuckers are divorced because they wanted something else. I'm not talking about the divorces because of abuse. I'm talking about because they got tired of one little fucking thing that their partner was doing and they searched for something elsewhere. Imagine. You both have two people you can interchange with. You got a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then you got a fucking Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and you can just relax on Sunday. Okay? You got two different people that you can communicate with instead of having that one partner. Me personally, 6 people, that sounds insane. That's a lot. But if you move through those 6 people, you're not going to want to go anywhere else. You're going to be fucking tired after that. You know, that's why people have side pieces. It is what it is, folks. This is life. This is why, you know, honestly, I'd rather just stay alone. I don't want to have to deal with that. You know, get what I get every once in a while here and there, this, that, and the other, but not be, you know, tied down. It happens every once in a while, and then shit falls apart. That's life. It is what it is. But that's why I'm kind of like, yeah, I kind of agree. Look at you know, you see stories and hear this. Oh, they had 3 wives and everybody was happy. She had 3 husbands and life was amazing. You know, it's a weird thing to even talk about, but when you look at divorce rates and how life is now, that doesn't sound bad. You know, you got your main, secondary, tertiary, you know, it like, I don't know. And we all know someone in our lives that they're juggling a couple of relationships. And guess what? They seem happy. You know, they're not telling stories. Oh, they won't let me do this. They won't let me do that. So I get where this person is coming from. But from the standpoint of, you know, being able to save some money and shit like that, yeah, that ain't going to happen. You'll be broke before you know it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just talking. I'm just agreeing and disagreeing. So, you know, don't hate me. These are just the articles I find. And I shake my head on some. I agree. I disagree. This, that, and the other. But yeah, I don't know. Because people ask me, hey, Chuck, you want to get married? Absolutely not. Because again, if one thing upsets them, now they're taking half of every motherfucking thing I have. And I don't have anything. So they can just fucking go on. But for the couple things I do have, that's mine, motherfucker. But if you're free to be, then what's yours is yours, and they can fuck off. All right, I'm getting out of here. This was another good episode. Listen, folks, I love doing this. I love having a great time finding articles, talking about the articles, talking on Mondays. It's great. It is fucking great. And again, here's to the new chapter. All right, let's hit that music. Don't forget, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Casually Uncomfortable, Twitter, at Casually Unchuck. Let your friends know. All right, I'll see you next week. Have a great time. Have a happy Mother's Day. Be safe, have fun, and don't be a piece of shit. Peace.